welcome to Recollections May Vary, a royal recap. I'm Kinsey Schofield, here with Maureen Callahan, host of The Nerve with Maureen Callahan. You did some royals this week. Wait, what are we talking about this week? Because I think we're tearing into some pretty ugly outfits, aren't we?
Oh yeah, you and I are going to have a complete fashion evisceration, a celebration of those who do it right. But there were a couple of events over the past few days, and I saw these looks, and I thought to myself, Kinsey, the nerve, like let's go, it's time. This is what we were put on earth to do, my friend.
It's so true. I can't wait to. I hope that Haley Bieber's on your list.
I see her? Would you send me what you think
Yeah,
we
I'm
need to
going
talk
to send
about?
you. Exactly. I will absolutely send you that. Well, that's something to look forward to. Do you know when that's going to air this week?
That is going to air. I don't want to spoil it, but it's going to air this week.
Okay, so watch The Nerve. If you are watching now and excited, if we've teased this well enough, then you will head on over to The Nerve and enjoy it there too. Let's talk about some of the. Can I just say we've hit peak tabloid for Harry and Meghan with this one headline. And there's no other person in the world I'd want to talk about this with more than
Deeply
you.
touched.
Exclusive: Prince Harry's balding troubles has led to sexless marriage. Thank you, Radar Online. Does it mean anything to you that Harry and Meghan are so litigious and Radar Online was still like, you know what? Let's do it.
That is a great point. I didn't even think about the way in which that story would have to be legaled for them to go forward, knowing how much those two, like it's their favorite hobby is
Mhm.
suing people.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of feel like listen, I'm sure they've got their ducks in a row, but it's sort of funny. It's like the hair loss and whatever medications we're taking for said hair loss are the Trojan horse to just discuss the fact that these two haven't been having sex with each other, allegedly, reportedly, for quite some time. And the mirroring of this is so interesting because the report says that not really since the birth of their second, Lilibet. And that mirrors Charles and Diana. Didn't she
Mhm.
say that after Harry, he like never touched her again?
Well, yeah, they were really, really close initially after Harry. And
Hmm.
I don't know, I can't remember specifically. I think honestly, just I hate to bring it up, but I think Charles starts to look at Camilla a certain way again, the now queen. And that's where he, decides, maybe this is not the life that I want. But yeah, I thought that this story was absolutely ridiculous, and we of course have to dig into it. A source claimed to Radar Online Harry is very self-conscious about his hair. Doesn't that annoy you? If that's probably true, if it's true that he would go and write about Prince William's hair loss in his book, or is that what you do? Try to distract from your own by pointing out your brothers.
It actually makes some sense to me. It's projection.
Mm,
It's and deflection, and it's sort of Harry taking the thing that he probably feels most insecure about regarding his looks and pointing to his brother and saying, "Look over there. Look." And it's sort of like the hair loss in the sort of biblical sense, meaning the loss of power, right? Samson and Delilah, when actually William has leaned into it, is is now semi-bald, shaved head, whatever, but he looks incredible and he looks formidable because he's leaning into things. He's not trying to avoid them. And I think that is the metaphorical difference between the brothers.
yeah, sexiest bald man alive for like 2 or 3 years running now.
No
Harry, take
question.
that.
No
Um,
question.
he's been using a mix of treatments for a while now. He knows there are potential side effects, but the truth is, it doesn't really matter to him anymore. Friends say there's been little intimacy between him and Meghan for a long time since the birth of their second child. They live more like colleagues or co parents than a couple. So when we see them all over each other at these events, are they trying to are they overcompensating for something? Are they trying to just shut down critics? Is it anxiety? You know, because they are our red carpets where she's the claw is out.
Okay, first, I just want to say if Harry really does want to do something about this hair loss, Turkey or Argentina? The men I have spoken to recently who are looking to replenish lost hair, that's where they're going. You can get great work done for not a lot of money. Great work front to back. So I don't know what I mean, being like dumb and ineffectual, I suppose, is like the natural state of being. Secondly, it I mean, I think there's truth to this in that number one, it was very interesting that he did not accompany Meghan to Paris. She had to pay people basically to, pay bodyguards to make her look as if she could move about in that world. And then we saw them on the red carpet in New York after her stunt, driving by the tunnel where Diana died with her feet up in a chauffeured limousine. And
Wait, and did you see the shot where he tries to touch her and she moves him off in New York? Did you see that? Like he's touching her
no,
lower back and she pushes him off of her. And I was like, I mean,
oh,
all eyes are on you.
you do. And normally in the beginning, she used to be like, it was stage five clinger, like pawing. And if he was like a millimeter away, the hand on the back, the hand on the arm, the hand on the hand, like you're coming with me, you're my trophy, but you're my security blanket. I fully believe this story. I think that he has had it with her. I think that she has had it with him. I think they both probably blame each other, even though they were equally responsible for the mess that their respective lives are in. Meghan is attempting to relaunch herself yet again. She's like a dead Elon Musk SpaceX rocket that just can't get off the launch pad. It just, and Harry has now blown up any traction he had made with King Charles in that summit in September by once again whinging and moaning that he needs taxpayer funded security at all times when and a palace source said that the king's reaction to that is that's really unfortunate. Now we're back to where we were.
Right. I want to tell you about today's sponsor. True or false, incognito mode makes you invisible on the internet. The answer is actually false. Most people have no idea, but your browsing history can still be monitored and even recorded unless you use today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN reroutes your internet traffic through a secure encrypted tunnel, protecting your data from hackers, advertisers, or even your internet service provider. Depending on where you live, ISPs can actually be required to log your activity or even worse, legally sell your browsing history. ExpressVPN makes sure that doesn't happen. It also lets you change your online location so you can access geolocked content on streaming platforms like Netflix, Disney Plus, and BBC iPlayer. With servers in over 100 countries, you can unlock thousands of new shows and movies from around the globe. Setup is simple. Just one click to connect, and it works across all your devices, phones, laptops, tablets, even smart TVs. Speeds are blazing fast, so you can stream in HD with zero buffering. I've used ExpressVPN while traveling, and it gives me a real sense of peace. Protect your online privacy today by visiting expressvpn.com/Kinsey to get up to 4 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/Kinsey. But also, it doesn't do him any favors when Meghan says to Bloomberg that it was so, what was the word she used? Describing pantyhose as basically what? Some sort of something that held her back, something that wasn't very her, as if pantyhose were the worst possible thing that could happen to her throughout her time at the British royal family. That wasn't her authentic self. And then talking about healing when asked, basically, I think she understood that Fortune was going like, what's the strategy here in Washington, D.C.? Fortune is asking, what are you doing? Where are you going? And Meghan tries to backpedal by saying, well, for the first few years after we left, there really wasn't a plan. We were nesting and healing. Healing from what? I mean, obviously, that's a dig at the British royal family. I just thought that that was the most ridiculous answer. We had no plan. You had bought sussexroyal.com before you had the courtesy to tell Queen Elizabeth that you were stepping back as working members of the British royal family. Like, you always have a plan. They're just crappy plans.
So, as to the pantyhose and the perseveration on that, this is a small mind at work. We've mentioned the pantyhose since fleeing, you know. Um, she really cannot expand upon this or point to the I'm not even going to dignify this. We must move on with our lives. She can stay back there with her legs. We're going to move on. Um, I'm so happy you brought this up because we took this apart on the nerve. Uh, and just this week we did it. You can go see it. That moment at the Fortune, and again, why these otherwise esteemed publications are entertaining the likes of this dummy, I've got no idea. But this woman who's interviewing her, who again, like Emily Chang, either seems not to have done her research or is too cowed by again the presence of this false idol in her midst. She says, "Well, let's go back to to when you left, because that's really the only interesting thing
Yeah.
about these two. Really, they've done nothing of interest since." And Meghan goes, we were nesting and we were healing. And she says, I didn't have the bandwidth. I didn't have the bandwidth. She didn't talk about Harry, this dum-dum over here. I didn't have the bandwidth to come up with a grand master plan. Well, over at the Nerve, we went through the timeline of every major deal they had signed with Netflix, with Spotify, with Oprah, with this, with that, within the first year to 16 months. No, the announcement of those deals since leaving the royal family, there's a difference between the announcement of those deals, the beginnings of the talks about those deals, the contracts being drafted, the back and forth with the lawyers, the signing of those deals and those announcements, which are months in the making, months of heavy negotiation. So she is a liar
Yeah.
who lies. And it makes me so angry, Kinsey, because the likes of you or I, and this is why she would never talk to either one of us, likes of you or me rather, we would do our research and we would do our reading. And when she said something that was such an obvious falsehood, such as that, we would say, wait, let's go back. Let's go back. Now explain yourself after we've gone through this timeline. What do you mean you have the bandwidth to put anything together, sister?
Right. Yeah, I remember her doing interviews alongside Kamala Harris, Stacey Abrams, Hillary Clinton on, they were voting Zooms, trying to get people to vote. There's the news outlet that she has somehow been involved in the last few years. She did some talk at South by Southwest with them recently. She did an exclusive interview with them right as she left too, and it was a Zoom interview. What are you talking about bandwidth? We know they were talking to Quibi, which no longer exists, but it was that micro video site before they stepped down as royals. We know Andrew Morton told me 6 months before their wedding, they started negotiating with Oprah Winfrey about an interview. So, I mean, that's a bold-faced lie. Like you said, it's insane that people just let her get away with that. And just to gloss over the name change from American Riviera Orchard to As Ever for a year. We all referenced it as American Riviera. I mean, that was a huge loss when it comes to brand recognition. You wouldn't want to fixate on that and say, what did you learn from that experience?
Excuse
you know
me,
what I mean?
Kinsey, what were your learns?
What
It's
were
a noun now.
oh my
It's a
God.
noun.
Oh my God. All right. So the article says Prince Harry's surrounded by people who look perfect. That environment puts a lot of pressure on him. He's been struggling to fit in and he hates being reminded that he's aging. For Harry, losing his hair feels like losing control, and he's already lost so much. I think it would also be difficult, although he has to give them permission to do this. The book Spare, he's got fake hair. Every People magazine cover he's on, they've given him fake hair. Like, I'm sure he's looking at these magazine and book covers going, that doesn't all belong to me.
You know, it's interesting the word lost in and extrapolating it from the hair loss to all the other things he has lost. I think that is the incorrect word. I think the phrases should be all that he has thrown away, all that he has
Crashed.
given up, all the people he has betrayed, all the broken hearts that he has left in his midst. This is not a passive enterprise. These two are not victims, and every word matters.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Just to wrap it up, this story, they barely touch. An insider claimed Harry still loves Meghan, but the spark is gone. Whether the meds make a difference or not, the bedroom door's been closed for a long time.
My question is, where's Mummy's hair in the Tiffany box that we
Yeah.
used as a
Which
talisman
room?
to get pregnant on
Which
the end
room does
table?
that stay in? Does that stay in Harry's room or Meghan's room?
That's a really good question. That's a fight to the death, right?
I don't know what witchcraft we're doing with Princess Diana's hair to try to um, attract good juju Meghan's way. And
Hmm.
this is a good transition here. Will Meghan Markle join the Billionaires Club by becoming a makeup
No,
mogul? Oh my God, I know. One source told the Mail on Sunday on her Instagram reel, the makeup lined up on her dressing room table was unbranded. It had the brand labels obscured, which felt deliberate. That's a telltale sign Meghan has something in the pipeline. The fact she didn't want to promote or reveal any other makeup is a big clue that she's gearing up to promote her own range eventually. And it's a sign for industry insiders. You and I kind of, well, privately, we've had this discussion. You mentioned that video Daniel posted one of the last times I talked to you about Meghan's breakdown of what she wore in Paris. So he quickly removes that video and tells sources that don't worry, he's going to upload it later with a full list of everything he used. So I thought that that was suspicious that he deleted that video. And then, yeah, I messaged you when she uploaded that reel, and I was like, look at all these weird makeup capsules. I think she's about to launch a makeup. Um, she's not Kylie Jenner. She's not even Kim Kardashian had branded herself as as a beauty expert. We were all fascinated by her, the way she contoured her face for years before she stepped foot into the beauty space. Hailey Bieber had the name Baldwin and Bieber behind her. She was also a supermodel, and she also invented a stupid phone case that we all know and love. Selena Gomez, extremely talented behind the scenes, Rihanna, Victoria Beckham. I just don't think Meghan has the resume that these other women do that are celebrities that have turned to makeup as well.
So the thing that struck me about the quadrant photo that's going around and the videos that have somewhat become a meme of Megan in the mirror, like applying her lipstick and what's on her vanity and everything, those are very clearly stacks of Tom Ford lipsticks.
Oh, are they?
They are extremely recognizable cases. And Tom Ford has since sold his company. I believe Estee Lauder bought it for billions of dollars. I love Tom Ford. He's a genius, and he has since exited fashion and beauty. But it that to me is the metaphor of, I'm gonna try to now leave breadcrumbs about what my next attempt at throwing spaghetti against the wall will look like. And it's supposed to be a mystery, and perhaps I'm generating my own makeup line. And what does she do but choose some of the most recognizably packaged cosmetics out there on her table, as though like it just goes to the complete lack of originality. The thing that she lacks are the very things that one needs to be a success. Your core consumer needs to identify you with the product. You need to have an extreme work ethic, which she does not. You need to understand what it is that's original and new that you're bringing to the category. When Rihanna entered, she did something that hadn't really been done before, which was wild, which was makeup for every skin tone, from the palest white to the darkest complexion. And, it's made her a billionaire. She's since left pop music. Why wouldn't she? You know, what, in what lane
Bronzer,
is Megan going to?
hyper bronzer that refuses to blend.
You said it, I didn't. Now, if one had a sense of humor, one would go with that, refusing to blend in, right?
Yeah.
We're refusing to blend in. But no, this is going to, and again, woe betide whatever company gets in bed with this woman,
But
it's always,
wouldn't that be on par with the Kardashian route that she seems to be taking? Because Kris Jenner, they knock cosmetics out left and right these days, thanks to Kylie's. You want to talk about a makeup mogul? Kylie enters the chat lying to us about her lip filler, and we're all like, that's fine. We'll wear her lip gloss. And then Kim Kardashian enters the chat. I don't know if Kim still has her beauty line or if she completely retired it, but
I
it's
think
not
she
like,
retired it.
yeah. I think I just threw away some that I found underneath my sink, and I was like, I do not think that this is hygienic to utilize these anymore. I don't think this exists anymore. I could have sold them on eBay, but I think that that would be in line. Here's my problem. Why would we be putting her on the cover of, I don't think it's Vogue. What I'm spacing on the name, Harper's Bazaar. Why would we be putting her on the cover of Harper's Bazaar if she doesn't have something else that she's trying to launch? And you don't put jam makers on the cover of Harper's Bazaar.
First of all, I need to ask you, what is your, how do you know it's definitely not Vogue, even though she was photographed with Chloe Mel, the newly installed EIC in New York,
I
and that it's
think I'm
Harper's
believing the
instead?
Daily Mail.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. The
I
Daily
think
Mail reporting.
yeah, the Daily Mail reported that it was Harper's Bazaar. And when it comes to Chloe, I read that she got into so much trouble with, forgive me for forgetting his name, Edenful. I'm so,
Edward Enninful.
yes, she got in so much trouble with him when she hyped up them following her around for that September issue to receive another award in London for her charity work. And when they refused to give her the cover and she wanted double covers, I believe, and was trying to kick her friend Serena Williams off the cover, she asked to do a Zoom with Anna Wintour to, go to the top boss to try to convince Anna. Anna gave her the Zoom to be polite, but apparently after that was like, she's no, she's, I'm not, that's ridiculous that she would have the audacity to ask us for this. They say that she burned that bridge with Vogue in doing that. So what we're watching right now is her trying to get back in with Vogue and try to heal that relationship after blowing it up by taking that entire piece away from them when she didn't get her way.
Oh, I remember that. As you're talking, I remember about reading and that whole series of events and Anna taking the meeting out of a sense of etiquette, but really making it very brief, and being extremely non-committal and walking away from that going, basically, who does this trick think she is? She just
Mm-hmm.
got here and she's
Yeah.
trying to blow up the monarchy. And to go to Edward Enninful, I remember she was guest editing that issue of British Vogue. And
Well, no, this is after that.
oh,
They
this is
had,
after that.
and
Okay.
she was a pain in the butt during that, but it was
Hmm.
one of their best selling issues. So they were like, you know what? They wanted to keep everything top secret. And according to Revenge, there were leaks that Vogue assumed were coming from Meghan's camp. That there were leaks coming out about the magazine, and she had pitched, let's tease this, let's tease that, and they were like, no, we're super secret, we don't have to do that, we're Vogue. And
Right.
so they were really unhappy with her at the end of it because they felt like she'd gone behind their back and leaked a few things about the magazine. But you know what? It sold really well, so they were like, okay, we're just going to consider this a one and done. Even Edenful recently said, why did I just slaughter this man's name again?
It's okay.
Edward,
It's a little tricky. It's
yeah,
Edward Enninful. I think it's the last name you're getting. It's Enniful.
Edenful.
Yeah.
So he recently said, and we probably discussed this, he's launched a new magazine. And when asked, would he work with Meghan Markle again? He was like, I've done that. I've done it. I think
That's the fashion world's polite way of saying F no.
yeah. And so the story here is that we're watching her try to make nice with Vogue, make nice with Condé Nast because they were unhappy during that period that she was talking to them. She was supposed to have a big spread about her charity work. And because they refused to give her the cover, who was on the UK cover too? It was somebody compelling. And I thought, why would they take that person off to give it to Meghan? But she ripped the whole story from them. She wouldn't allow them to publish the entire story, and so that her relationship had soured with them.
But it's also interesting that she's chasing dead legacy media.
Yeah.
Nobody
Is it?
cares if you're on the cover. Well,
I mean, she just
It's a
said on
good
that stage and was
question.
like, "Ah, boomerang was a thing."
It's it's a good question. I mean, it does go to show her lack of sophistication and understanding about how media works today. And but it is of a piece because you ask anybody who's an expert in what is resonating with any given audience today, and it's authenticity. And Meghan does not have it. She's incapable. I always call her the Blade Runner replicant. She looks like a human. She sometimes sounds like a human, but she doesn't seem human. She seems incredibly false and fake and insincere, and everything is studied and everything is, oh my gosh, she's a 40-year-old woman and we've known her now for like 10 years and nothing about her has become remotely palatable. If anything, she's just further repulsed us and she's seeming now to have repulsed her own husband, which means, and William is on the ascent. William is on the ascent. He just made a major power move this week. Andrew's out. And I think this is a very clear and present message he is sending to Meghan and Harry. You are
Hey,
next.
I want to talk to you today about beauty. Who doesn't want energy, metabolic, immune, and skin support? Meet Peak, a luxury brand transforming wellness with the absolute best rare and precious plants, cutting edge ingredients, and formulations rooted in traditional wisdom. Their science backed botanicals, minerals, and supplements support sustained energy, metabolic function, immune health, and radiant skin. One of their newest essentials, the Deep Hydration Protocol, is a two-part drinkable skincare system that keeps your body and skin hydrated while promoting better sleep. Made without sugar, fillers, or artificial flavors, and crafted with natural ingredients for a clean, spa like taste you can feel good about. Daily use supports hydration, glowing skin, improved sleep, and sustained energy. In the morning, I use BT Fountain. This is their beauty electrolyte. And then at night, I reach for the RE Fountain. This is the calming electrolyte. It contains this gentle form of magnesium that eases tension and helps me get deep, restful sleep without feeling yucky the next day. Wake up rested and stay hydrated all day long. Get 20% off for life, a complimentary gift, and explore Peak's clean, pure ingredient products at peaklife.com/Kinsey. That's PIQUE life.com/Kinsey. This is hydration redefined. Try it and glow from the inside out. Now back to the show. Let's just jump to this silly story. Meghan Markle mocked for tacky monogrammed tote bag with royal initials. Meghan was branded tacky for carrying a tote on a recent trip to Washington, D.C., where the initials DS for Duchess of Sussex were printed in large, bright blue lettering across a Longchamp bag. Listening to what you're saying about Meghan, we've known her for 10 years. I say this always about Archwell. What do you stand for? What do you stand for? Their motto is show up, do good. What the hell does that mean? You know,
Hmm.
what do you stand for? I think Meghan's entire identity is this title.
Hmm.
And I think that she must feel so trapped in a box and furious that she can't take advantage of it more than she already does.
It's so interesting. I saw that bag with the ridiculous, enormous, I mean, we're talking enormous, like 200 font size, point size, you know, like it's unmissable. It's like you see this trick like wheeling through JFK or, LAX, and you're gonna know who it is, but like, give me my privacy. I just want to be a normal person. And I think about, the exactly as you said, the way in which this title seems to mean everything to her and it is the backbone of her identity. Now, again, this is a woman who was born and raised an American. An
And do you remember
American,
she told Oprah that titles didn't matter to her. All that pomp didn't matter to her.
I forgot because we have so many contradictions and outright lies.
I know.
I really like, I need a Carrie Matheson homeland chart, like in the living room to keep track of the lies and the inconsistencies. But I think about this sometimes, like, if you really, like Princess Grace of Monaco, for example, born an American, married into royalty. One never got the sense that that title meant everything to her or was the end all and be all of her identity. If in fact, if anything, as she aged, we saw she felt like something somewhat of a bird in a gilded cage, and had wanted to go back to her career as an actress because she was a real one, her career as a movie star because she was a real one. But she never used her Americanness as some sort of deficit. It was always a plus. It was a value add to Monaco and to Europe at large and to her native country. And I think, like, if I were an American, I am an American woman, but let's say I was in Meghan's position, middle-aged, divorced at least once, had my own career, fell in love with a royal, married him, got this title. I truly think I would consider the title somewhat outside of myself, not of me, something I was gifted but didn't necessarily deserve or would have to work to deserve. But it certainly wouldn't be something that I subsumed as part of my core identity. And I think in seeing how much she clings to this and needs to, as I described Jennifer Aniston in a recent Nerve, Meghan should just suit up in a NASCAR jumpsuit and smack all of her royal titles all over her body and just make the world, just enter the room like that. Okay. Enter the room like that, as if we all don't know. It really speaks to a complete lack of a core identity, of self-esteem, of a healthy, regulated ego, of humility, of a sense of purpose, of a sense of proportion. All of those things are absolutely lacking. And I think that William is probably enjoying, as I've said to you before, the sort of the dark cloud that he is able to sort of just allow to follow Meghan, because she knows it's coming. She doesn't know when, she doesn't know where, how, but she knows it's coming.
I know. I'm just horribly looking forward to it. I can't wait for the day
Why do you
that
say
they,
horribly?
oh, because I know that they're going to claim racism.
That's not going to
They're,
work.
I hope not. I hope not. But I don't know. We'll see where the world is at that time. Harry and Meghan got away with what they got away with initially because of where we were culturally.
Mhm.
I think if they would have done it any other, 20 years ago, people would have been like, what? They allowed guys to get married. They allowed you to
They
get married.
loved it. They loved that it was an American biracial princess coming in. This was a
Hmm.
shot in the arm to a
Yeah.
sclerotic monarchy. They
Yeah.
loved it. The British people loved it. Look at the footage of that wedding. It was all because of where America was in current events.
I know. And she took advantage of that. Like when she was asked to speak at her high school's Zoom graduation, her old high school here in LA, and she sat squatting outside of, I think, Tyler Perry's house with a wall behind her, saying, I just feel guilty talking to you guys without mentioning George Floyd. And you're like, what? I'm just trying to, girl, I just busted my butt to graduate. Okay. Why do you have to bring me down?
Even the optics, again, of sitting in front of a wall. A wall says division. A wall says, I'm behind that wall, and the likes of you guys, you think you're going to climb it? You're ever going to get to where I'm at in life? There's zero. What an honor to be asked to speak at your former high school, let alone to give the commencement address. And instead, she uses this as a moment to perseverate on all of the things that she doesn't have. Again, I find this pathological victimhood very sick. I find it sick.
Yeah, I do too. And they've realized that they are limited in their ability to monetize it today. You talked about this pathological victimhood. Another great segue. Thanks, Maureen Callahan. An unlikely new Meghan Markle bestie is being positioned to help her with her career comeback. I'm going to read this word for word and tell me if you believe this. This is from Alison Bishop at the Daily Mail. It can be revealed that a key figure in Meghan's plans is fashion conscious actress Blake Lively, a longtime friend of Anna Wintour's, who has put Blake on the cover of Vogue more than once. Blake is genuinely close to Meghan and Harry, and I'm told the Sussexes quite often stay with her and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, at their penthouse when in New York due to the security. Others say the arrangement allows the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to benefit from the couple's security. But have you ever seen such a or imagined such a toxic combination between these two individuals?
Well, I think Alison Boshoff at the Mail is incredibly well sourced. She is incredibly well sourced, and so I believe it's true. And again, at the Mail, we go through a kind of legal vetting that is extremely precise uh, and diligent. This does make actual sense to me because like attracts like. And at the Nerve, we've been doing a deep dive on Ryan Reynolds, who is a psycho arsonist. He admitted to setting fire to his elementary school, and in his version, a wing burned down. And in the news reports, replete with photos of the school that we dug up and showed at the Nerve, that school burned to the ground. And then Ryan talked also about forcing his 7-year-old daughter, who begged her father and said, Daddy, I really don't want to say the line. And this is graphic. When I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's out of your mouth in Wolverine versus Deadpool. And he and the director joked on the official commentary about how much his 7-year-old daughter didn't want to say it. And what did they do? They made her say that in their, I'm quoting from them, between 70 to 500 times. And as I said, there is a huge gap between 70 and 500. And I believe it was closer to 500. I think Ryan Reynolds is a psychopath. I think he's an evil, bad, effing, dangerous guy. I think his wife is no better. And if Meghan and Harry, with all of the attention they pay to how they are perceived by the public and how beloved they are, think that these two are great to cozy up to and be best friends with, have at it, because this is, again, water seeks its own level.
Yeah, we did see Meghan and Blake together in December 2024 at Samantha Stone's baby shower in West Hollywood. So we knew that they had been in the same room before. Obviously, they share a circle of friends. Uh, I get the argument in this particular piece was that Meghan could help, or that Blake could help Meghan launch into the fashion space. Do you have an opinion on whether Meghan could be leaning towards fashion or makeup? I also think you could be right that Meghan just likes dangling a carrot because she enjoys being talked about.
Well, you came to me originally with this theory, and then it made complete sense that her next venture will be fashion and or beauty. And when she said at the Fortune Summit, everybody thought my initial business venture would be in the fashion and beauty lane. No, we didn't.
No.
Nobody thought that. Nobody was like, wow, I really want to look like Meghan Markle. I want to dress like Meghan Markle. She's a fashion icon. She has real original style. What an admirable person. What a cool person. She comes at the world in a completely different way. No, she's a basic bitch from LA who did everything she could to land a big fish, and we all know it. Do I think Blake Lively can help her? I absolutely do not. Blake has been dumped by Taylor Swift for good. Meghan hand wrote a note to Taylor Swift asking Taylor to please guest on her very first iteration of her podcast, this one misnomered Archetypes. She meant not archetypes.
She meant stereotypes.
Stereotypes. Thank you, Kinsey. And I don't think Taylor even responded.
She had her people. She had her people.
She had her people
decline.
respond, but that's
Yeah.
still a deep cut. It's like when a winner in the culture like Taylor, whether you like her music or not, she's a winner in the culture. She's a winner in business. Decides you're dead weight, and she's got to cut you off to keep moving like the shark she is. You're done. You're dead weight. Remember Blake's Goop-like attempt at a lifestyle blog, and she got shut down for all the plantation aspects of it. She couldn't even understand. And that to me says she doesn't have good people around her. And when you don't have good people around you, I think it's because you're a terrible person to work for.
Yeah. I mean, that's the truth. If you just look at the turnover for Harry and Meghan, it's unreal. I mean, we've lost count of how many people have come and gone, but clearly her new publicist, Meredith Maines, is going absolutely insane and saying yes to a lot more than she probably should be, because none of that, there's no method to the madness. And again, when you don't stand for anything, Meghan just wants to be a personality. She just wants to, and I think that is, I think that is scary to the British royal family. As an actress, She's fine. She's just reading lines. And let's be honest, Ryan Murphy could take her and do something with her in a heartbeat.
But
Okay.
he hasn't, and he
Yep.
won't. And why?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's a pretty toxic individual, but as a personality, I think she's a liability because she constantly is talking about this family that she briefly engaged with 5 years ago for 2 years. I mean, she's not been a member of the royal family longer than she was a member of the royal family, and she continues to fixate on these people. We were healing. What? So Catherine, the Princess of Wales, didn't want to get a petty with you. Get over it. Like, she had just had a baby. I'm sure she was exhausted. She had three young children. She was a human jungle gym. And you come in fake as can be, fake as a fur. And I don't know what she wanted from Catherine, but if Catherine's people were astute enough to bring Meghan Markle's old blog posts about her wedding to Prince William to her attention and
Hmm.
how she felt like people were overhyping Catherine's wedding day, I'm sure Catherine thought, I don't like you.
I'm sure they also really discerned the subtext, which was just a wild amount of jealousy, competition, and wish to be Catherine. I
Mm,
think, in the context of this conversation, it did occur to me that it was quite an obscenity for Meghan to choose the word healing when the Princess of Wales is still healing from her cancer diagnosis and treatment, which I'm sure, I don't know, but they don't just cut it out and let you go. You undergo years of treatment and testing and it hangs over you. So she can F off with she's healing. She doesn't know about healing.
I know.
Okay. As to her just wanting to be a personality, I think it's far darker than that because she is a personality. She got what she wanted. She's famous. We know who she is. She's got a lot of money. That's not really what she wants. She wants to become beloved, admired, and envied while using the world stage as a receptacle for her unbridled rage and fury, which has no bottom.
I mean, yeah, I've always felt like she wanted to be powerful, but to do what with?
That's the thing. I mean, she doesn't have, as we've said, there's no there, but she has no overriding sense of purpose, and that's why every single business venture has failed. There's no spine to it, there's no intellectual spine, there's no philosophical premise, there's no stated reason for being. I find it the ultimate metaphor for being Meghan Markle. Why are you here?
Yeah, I okay,
Why are you on
so
the world stage? What the F are you doing?
if you want to make sure that children are protected online, I mean, okay, I do think that that's a valuable cause. I wish I believed it coming from her. I would start with asking your supporters to stop harassing Prince William and Catherine's children on the internet and bullying them on the internet. That's where I would start. But, wouldn't it make more sense to go in to make as ever children's based and children's clothing, children's toys, whatever? It's just everything is all over the place. You want us to buy your makeup, but you're also selling jam. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. It's the craziest thing I've ever tried to digest.
She's like a community center's after school program in terms of her portfolio. It's calligraphy, it's making jam,
Wrapping paper or
gift
wrapping
wrapping,
gift
gift
wrapping.
wrapping 101. Um, you know, wait, what was I going to say to what you were just saying about her inability to like, God, I'm losing my train of thought, but
Sorry.
no, it's okay. Her inability to like follow through on, oh, the bullying thing. Well, maybe if you would like us to believe that you are really passionate about eradicating online bullying of children, don't invite Chrissy Teigen, who bullied online a teenage starlet and basically told her to go kill herself multiple times in open forums, onto your show called With Love Megan about building a loving, warm hearth and home and how to make people feel safe and loved. Maybe don't do that.
That's where I'd start. I had asked you something. Do you remember what I had asked you? if you thought Meghan would be angry that Chrissy Teigen described her as a polarizing character to People
Mhm.
magazine, what did you reply to me? Because it was really interesting. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. I said, I don't think that she's trying to help Megan be more understood. I think she was distancing herself from it. And again, you got a problem if you got a piece of trash like Chrissy Teigen going, I got to put my distance. Okay, I got to
Yeah,
keep my distance from the likes of you. I think if she had been defending Megan and standing up for her, she would have said something like, Megan is misunderstood. Megan
right.
is misperceived. This is not the Megan I know.
Yeah. Well, and we know you guys don't know. The last time they'd seen each other was at a 2013, 2014 Super Bowl event for Direct TV. They're not
Direct
friends.
TV,
Yeah,
which
like
is again as irrelevant as Meghan Markle. I mean, how great was that like bullshit Hollywood hug in her fake kitchen? Oh my God. Oh my God. And they're hugging. Oh my God. I haven't seen. Oh, you're so wonderful. Oh, you're so wonderful. In comes John Legend. Oh my God. Oh my, like it's exactly what regular people like us think like Hollywood people are like.
yeah,
Totally fake and full of
that's the truth. It was, and then the People magazine asked if they'd had any play dates with their kids, and Chrissy was like, "Oh no, but I don't like to leave my house." If you genuinely had a good time that day, you would bring your kids. You would find some way for your kids to hang out with each other. They're around the same age.
Of course,
Just
and it would be a perfect bridge towards trying to facilitate a real friendship, you know?
yeah,
But secondly, don't forget, as we saw and heard in that With Love Megan episode, Chrissy Teigen had the names and birth dates of her, rather the birth dates of all of her children tattooed on the inside of her forearm and holds it up and then is asked when one of her children was born and is like, John,
uh,
John, when is so and so's birthday? I mean, you couldn't make it up.
oh my God, it was so bad. Well, I'm just patiently waiting to see what she does next because nothing she does makes any sense to me. And maybe it is because we know that Prince William, as King William, is going to put his foot down. There's a real sense of desperation right now. What annoys me about it is that people like Anna Wintour, and whatever, Balenciaga, that they're pandering to that sense of desperation, but there's something in it for them. They get their
Okay,
names in the paper too.
yes, can we talk about now this was when we were talking about I don't know if we did it on your show, but the Kristen Scott Thomas icing out of Megan.
Mm-hmm.
And you said to me that somebody you know and respect said watching Megan's face fall in that moment and Kristen's refusal to acknowledge her for the first time they felt bad for Megan. They felt that she really was wounded. And my reaction was, why on earth would you feel bad for a monster like this? That's just her ego getting wounded on camera. She's going to saunter off and be fine. And lo and behold, what followed that? The real, with our feet up, driving by Diana's death tunnel for all to see.
I
She's a
just
monster.
I just could I would love to spend 3 minutes inside her brain
No,
because
you wouldn't. You would not. You would be like a Franz Kafka character screaming to get out. Or like the finale of Felicity, right? When they had to add on that season, those episodes for Felicity and they got stuck in the box. That would be you in Meghan Markle's head, stuck in the
uh,
box.
I hate it. I hate it. Yeah, so any predictions what we'll see over the next few weeks because I don't think she's done for 2025. There is a real sense of urgency and I love it. She told us 2025 was going to be the year of the Markle Sparkle twerking video, Vanity Fair's American Hustle. I feel like she was humbled real quick at the start of the year, and I'm curious to know if she thinks that over if the last few weeks have been successful in her mind when most of us are sitting back going, "What are you doing?"
I think this has been the worst year that the Sussexes have ever had. I think in the next few weeks we are going well, there's a few things we're going to see. We're going to see yet another launch of another product line, and this one, Kinsey, is going to be the most authentic reflection yet of who and where Megan is. It's her going to be her most authentic self. This product line, this not forget all that other forget it all. This one is the one. It's our most authentic self. And then we're going to go into, we're going to be teased with maybe the children in profile around
We're going to get a
Thanksgiving.
Christmas special.
And we're
No,
getting a Christmas special. We are getting a Christmas special. And again, who better? Who better? Embodying the spirit of the
yeah,
holiday season.
exactly. A woman that has alienated every single family member that's ever existed. You know what's weird? This just occurred to me that her niece appeared on the anti-royal Harry and Meghan docu-series talking about how she's so close to Meghan now,
Mhm.
even though she didn't get an invite to the wedding and it really hurt her feelings.
Well, George and Amal had to be seated. So sorry,
Exactly.
kid.
Exactly. Why didn't she pop up in Meghan's show cooking in the kitchen with her? Or isn't that odd to you that she's just disappeared off the face of the planet again? The niece that we brought back, who
Okay, I'm going to say this through the filter of Meghan Markle.
uh,
How attractive was the niece?
she was cute. Samantha's daughter. She
Oh,
looked
she's
like,
Samantha's daughter. That's also a problem. I mean, honestly, I just think unless you've got some sort of fame or notoriety, she really doesn't care. Again, the idea that like the only family member of Meghan's at the wedding was her mother. No other family member. You're telling me you don't have a cousin you're close to or have great affection for, or an aunt or an
well,
uncle or
and then
some sort of family
they
friend?
blamed the palace for not inviting her niece. They said that the palace thought it would be an issue. People would ask why her niece was there, but not her sister.
I'm
No.
sorry, all kinds of firsts were done for that wedding.
Yeah.
First gospel choir, which really was an amazing moment. First time the Prince of Wales walked a woman down the aisle halfway who was not a blood relative. You know, so many concessions were made. The white gown and the veil, even though this was a second, as far as we know, marriage, you know, all of it, all of it. Oh, except we didn't get to air out the cathedral with a diptyque. Again, she's so basic. It's like, oh, I want this ancient cathedral that's seen history, you know, we in America, as such a young country, could only marvel at. I want it to smell like the Four Seasons LA lobby. That's class. That's class, right?
Oh my gosh. Which Meghan Markle at by that point would only get to smell if there was an audition or a junket in that building.
Or a
But she,
gentleman's suitor upstairs.
good God. All right. Well, that's a great way to end. Agree with us, disagree with us. Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. And head on over to the Nerve, where we are going to be very fierce and sassy about some unfortunate outfits we've seen over the last few days.
It's going to be so fun. I can't wait for this.
Bye, guys.